All right, next up, we've got a short series of garden tips from some of the incubating farm businesses at Viva Farms in Woodinville. Viva Farms works to preserve sustainable farming, creating a strong and just local food system. I am so inspired by what Viva Farms is doing. They empower aspiring and limited resource farmers by providing bilingual training in holistic organic farming practices and providing access to land, infrastructure, equipment, marketing, and capital. So, talk about really helping people who are aspiring farmers to now go out and really build your farm. This is so dope. But before we jump into that, we're also going to watch a quick video from our friends at Loop featuring Ben Oxt, the forestry project manager at King County Biosolids Program. And maybe you've been following all week. We've been doing a bunch of different videos from Loop. Super informative. Ben is going to show you how to plant a tree, which includes how to dig the right size hole, and then, adding your compost, making sure your soil is healthy, and how to keep your tree alive once you do that. So, as you know, planting a tree is a great way to help fight climate change. And obviously, the more trees, the cleaner the air, the more beautiful your community. So let us go ahead. Again, roll up them sleeves. Let's get a little dirty. Check out these clips.
Hi, my name is Ben Axt. I work with the King County Loop Biosolids program. I work to bring Loop up to our forest to help our trees grow. But today we're going to talk about planting an apple tree in your yard using our Loop Biosolids compost. So the first step for putting the tree into the ground is to dig a hole for it. What we want to do is try to give the tree a good head start with its roots spreading out. So we're going to make a hole much bigger than we think we need to get this pot into the ground. So we have our hole dug. We've dug it out much wider and much deeper than our pot. What we've done with this specific hole is put some mesh down in the bottom because the area we're in has a lot of rodents that'll want to eat our roots. But in general, with your hole, what you want to do is dig it much wider and much deeper than you need for your plant so that you can put a little bit of soil mixed with compost in the bottom. What you want is to fill it back up with compost mixed in till the bottom of the hole is going to bring the top of your plant level with the ground. When you have it there, you can work your plant out of its pot and you can break up these roots a little bit to give them a little head start on knowing that they're ready to grow. And then you just pop it in the ground. So when you're putting the soil in around the tree, you want to make sure you compact it. The trick to it is just to keep your heel out beyond where the roots from the tree are and work your way around so that you're not stomping the roots, but you're getting good soil compaction. You want to keep this watered for a while it gets established and then watch it over the course of other summers. Every year you can give it a top dressing and compost like our Loop Biosolids compost and it'll be perfectly happy.
Hey King County, welcome to Viva Farms. This is Andrew Ely, Farm and Education Manager at Viva Farms, King County. We're a nonprofit business incubator located in Skagit and King County. We have about 100 acres of farmland that's accessible for new and beginning farmers and offer training and resources for beginning farmers in both Spanish and English. If you're interested in beginning farming, you can join our Practicum in Sustainable Agriculture or apply for our incubator program by visiting our website, vivafarms.org. We look forward to engaging with you in the future and hope you enjoy our small educational tip.
Welcome to the Viva Farms King County Student Farm Site. My name is Micah Anderson and I assist Andrew with managing the farm here and our practicum in sustainable agriculture. So today we're going to be talking about garlic harvest and curing and do a little braiding of garlic. I love garlic. It's my favorite crop to work with. I like the taste, I like the smell and the texture. I think it looks beautiful. And it's so easy to grow out here in the Northwest. So you can take a look. This is the last of our 4 garlic beds. We planted this in mid-October, about October 15th. We put the seeds in the ground. We made some nice raised beds because we get kind of wet here. Our beds are about 3 feet wide, so we planted 3 rows. You can see maybe 6 to 8 inches apart. And then we waited. And then we weeded a couple times in the spring, and now it's mid-July, and it's time to harvest. So a couple ways that you know that your garlic is ready to harvest. You can see these brown leaves. We have sets of brown leaves. And especially with this is soft neck garlic. This is actually Nootka Rose. It's a soft neck garlic. And you can see that it's fallen over. So we know it partly because it's the season. It's mid-July. We've got brown leaves and it's starting to fall over. We know it's time to harvest. So to harvest garlic, it's nice to have, you can use a digging fork such as this one with the thick tines. A shovel can also work. And it just helps us work the garlic out of the ground. So we're going to come at an angle beside it, go in the ground, kind of pop it up. We don't want to get too close to the garlic and spear the garlic, so we're going beside it, nice and gentle, popping it up. And then trying to leave as much soil as possible. So here on the farm, we might go down the whole row. In your garden, you can go down several feet. Pop, 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 and then come back and pull them out of the ground. All right, next we'll move over to our curing station and talk about curing and braiding garlic. Okay, so we have our garlic. After we harvest the garlic, to make sure that we can store it for a long time and keep it free of disease, we want to cure it. And for curing it, we're going to hang it in the shade out of the sunshine and let it dry for 3 or 4 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks depending. So we want to make sure there's good air circulation. We don't want it can be damaged if it's directly in the sun, so under eaves or in a cool, dry place is going to be nice. And with this soft neck garlic, we can make braids to cure by, and this will look really nice when it's done. So to do this, to braid garlic, we want a multiple of 3. So you can braid garlic, and there are many different styles, so I'll show you a simple one to do at home today. But you can do it with 3, 6, 9, 12, any multiple of 3. Today we're going to do it with 6. So the first thing we want to do is clean off some of these outer brown leaves, and we can just strip them off gently. So we have our 6. We've cleared off a bit of the outside. We'll take our first 3 and we want to put the biggest one in the center. And then we'll cross the other 2. So you kind of have a little cross right here. We're going to take some twine. I like this sort of natural sisal twine or hemp twine. As the garlic dries, all of the stems will turn brown, and this will just go with that just fine. So once we have the 3, we're going to just tie them together pretty tight. As they dry and they desiccate, they'll start to shrink and become a little bit loose. So this helps keep them in place as they're drying. And then, so we have our first layer of 3. And we put our next layer of 3. And we will tie that as well. Okay, so now you can see we have 3 kind of distinct lines. These are nice and tight and together. So this is just like braiding hair, if you've ever done that. So we're going to take, I like to start from my right. So we'll go right over the center and kind of pull them tight. And now we have a new center. And then we'll go left over center. As we go with this, especially at the beginning, we can kind of push down so that the garlic doesn't twist over. So we can push down, it's still green, the stems are going to be fine. We'll push down And we'll try to make sure this is tight. So that we have the center one. We bring the right over center. We have a new center. Left over center. Right over center. And try to keep good pressure. It'll give you a nicer, tighter braid. And we just continue up the stock. And so once you get to a good place at the top and you're ready to stop, then you can just fold that over, hold it tight, and you're going to take one more piece of string and wrap it around. Try to keep it nice and tight. This one I like to have a little loop on the end so I can hang it up later. And then the last step for now is any of this extra on the back. You can just cut off with your scissors or anything kind of sticking and poking out. Extra twine. And then you have your braid of garlic ready to hang. So the very last step, once this cures after 2 to 4 weeks, you can cut off these roots. You want to leave them on while we're drying. You wouldn't want to do this normally while you're curing, just to make sure you're not making an infection court. But once it's cured, you cut these off, and you could take off this last layer of skin, and that's a little bit dirty on the outside after it's cured. That'll give you a nice braided garlic. And we can take a look at some of ours in the rafters and check out what they look at. Those are about a week and a half in. And then you can hang this up in your kitchen, and whenever you're ready for garlic for your meal, you can cut off a head and use it in your dinner. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Root and Rabbit Farms. I'm Dave Jimison.
And I'm Courtney Irvin.
We're husband and wife, and we're part owners of Root and Rabbit. It's a organic, sustainable farm, and we are a first-year farm coming out of the Viva incubator. What you see here is our entire farm. We're working about 1/8 of an acre, and we have a 1/4 acre in entirety. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about a little gardening tip that we implemented on our farm and had great success with. So if you notice, our beds here are quite raised. We have a differentiation between the walkway and the bed of 1 to 2 feet. The reason we did that is because we are in lowlands and there's always water pressure here. And we have a lot of water that goes in, and if we hadn't raised the beds, it would have washed away our seeds during the rainy season. It's done very well for us. The water will wet our plants, but then it'll run off and it won't accumulate to cause any problems. Another reason that I suggest this, that we've discovered, is that it actually reduces the presence of slugs and other kind of pests like rabbits and general pestilence. And it's really helped us to produce the yields that you see today. So one of the things that we've been working with is the idea that you can have too many yields. This little bed of snap peas here, we pulled off 40 pounds last week and it's already full back. So Courtney, can you talk to us about what you've done?
Yeah, so to sell some of the extra produce for both our farm and some of the other farmer friends that we had, we started a company called Mystery CSA, which buys excess produce and puts together CSA boxes from multiple farmers and delivers those boxes to folks in Seattle. So for those that aren't in a traditional CSA for the season, they can come to Mystery CSA and just buy a box for the week or for the month or whatever they need.
That's it from us. Happy farming.
Hi, my name's Noah Kay, and this is Mark Albanizio, and we are the farmers at Songbird Haven Farm. We're in our 2nd year of farming, and we farm on ancestral Coast Salish land in Woodinville, Washington. We farm a 1/2 acre, and we do diversified vegetables and some flowers, and we do most of our food distribution through a CSA, which we do in the summer and the winter seasons. And we're going to tell you a little bit about our farm today. If you do want to learn more, you can always visit our website and get on our mailing list, which is songbirdhavenfarm.com.
And so today's tip is more around some of the principles that we have on our farm, the biggest of which is soil health and the idea that plants and creatures in the soil are going to be talking to each other in order to grow strong and to help each other out.
So there are several ways that we prioritize the soil health on our farm and practices we use to foster good soil health. The first thing we do is, you can see from the video that we have raised beds. So the beds are permanent. We did use a tractor to get things set up, but now that these beds are set up, we try to disturb them as little as possible. So we don't step on them, we don't use a rototiller, we try really hard to only do the minimum amount of disturbance we need to weed, and then we don't mess with them because we want those really important networks of fungi and root systems and other microorganisms to remain intact. Those are so important for helping the plant get the nutrients that they need, and we don't want to mess them up and disturb those relationships. The second thing we do on our farm that's really important for soil health is that we grow year-round. So when a plant is photosynthesizing, it's of course capturing carbon that's in the atmosphere and converting that into sugars, which it can use for its own growth, and that it exudes through its root system. So the sugars, the carbon compounds that the plant has made from the carbon in the atmosphere ends up in the soil as well. And that is so important as we face climate change. We need the plants to help us out. Sequestering carbon in the soil is such an important way that we can start to tackle this really challenging problem. Luckily, the carbon in the soil is also really great for that community of microorganisms that we were talking about before. And then the last thing that we do to really focus on soil health is we grow a really diverse range of vegetables and flowers. And those microorganisms in the soil really need different things for many different types of plants. It also helps us prevent disease spreading or too much pest damage. So that diversity is really important for our operation in many ways.
And so at this point in the season, the 4 things that you might opt to grow at home are 4 crops, and those would be spinach, carrots, radishes, and mustard greens. And we say it's now time to direct sow because we're a little bit late in getting to crops that you would want to put in cell trays that you would grow and nurture in your greenhouse and then transplant in the soil to then take advantage of the last bit of sunshine that we have here in the coming months before winter. So to direct sow, those 4 crops would mean that you put them right in the soil now, and they begin to grow networks with all of the microbes that Noah was talking about that are in the soil, and take advantage of the sunshine for this fall, and be strong enough and big enough to be able to withstand the winter and know that you could grow those things tall enough and strong enough to then harvest throughout the winter time. Depending on where you are, it depends on the length of time that you might be able to grow those things. So good luck at home, and let us know if you have any questions. You could always email us at hello@songbirdhavenfarm.com or reach out to us through the website. As Noah was talking about, the newsletter is a great way to learn about who we are, what we do, events that are coming up, and we'd love to hear from you and hope that you have great success.
Hi there, my name is Marshall Leroy. My farm is ALKI Market Garden, and I've been farming here at the Viva site for the last 4 years now. And this is our first year of full-time farming for me. I got some of my nice produce here. I do a lot of sales through 21 Acres Market if you're interested in ALKI produce, or through Farm Stand Local Foods. Great way for people to get our local produce from here in the valley. I just wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about a home garden tip you guys might want to try. I use a lot of greenhouses here on my farm, and during the height of the summer, obviously not today since it's cloudy, but during the height of the summer, It gets quite hot out here, upwards of 85 degrees or 90 even some days. And we don't need to have the greenhouse plastic on our hoop houses all the time. So sometimes what we'll do is if we have a piece of land we want to clear without having to use the tractor, what we'll do is we'll take some of our greenhouse plastic and we'll solarize that patch of ground. And it's much easier to clear a piece of ground without having to do a lot of handwork or use a big piece of machinery to do it. I'll show you real quickly underneath here. Essentially what happens is the sunlight on a nice hot day gets trapped underneath, the energy of it gets trapped underneath our plastic and dries the greenery, the grass or the weeds underneath it. And this is just a couple days worth of, and even on today where it's not quite sunny, a couple days worth of progress. If it's really warm out like it was last week or like it will be this next week, you can solarize a piece of land in a couple of days, and that's a really effective and a useful way to use this greenhouse plastic. And then of course, when it's a little cooler out and you want to put it on a greenhouse, you can take these and put them back on your greenhouse and use them for two purposes instead of just the one. So there's your ALKI tip of the day. And again, my farm's name is ALKI Market Garden. I'm Marshall, I'm the farmer here. And if you want to check out more about ALKI, you can go to alkimarketgarden.com. We just put up our website, and if you want to find out more about where you can buy our produce, go ahead and go to 21 Acres Market, and they have our produce there. And like you saw the lettuce before, we have beautiful produce. So thank you very much, and stay safe during these troubled times. Thank you.